So a lot of times we talk about the digital dentistry. So I created this segment called the Digital Dentistry Deep Dive, or the 4Ds of clear aligners. And let's look into that. And one of the important things is that if you look at the history of the digital dentistry, we have been seeing that we talked about the CAD cams, we talked about the intraoral scanners, 3D printing. Obviously, that has taken by storm, and then obviously a lot of talks about the remote monitoring, whether that's effective or not. And yes, you're obviously underlying your practice management software. So there's a lot of talk about digital dentistry, but I think if you look at there are a lot of fundamental building blocks that we need to look into before we dive into the world of the artificial intelligence or the machine learning, which is what I think everyone is listening and hearing and thinking what it will do for dentistry, especially for clear aligners. But I think let's look at the fundamentals before. So one of the most important fundamental is that if you are a new startup who is starting a clear aligner business, I think the first thing that you need to look into is that, do you have a fundamental website? So that's the digital thing that you should be thinking about. Have you found the right agency that can work with you? Do you have a CRM platform? That's number two. So if you are a DSO, you will have obviously, or if you're a clinic, you will have the patient management software, or let's call the practice management software. So you'll have that. Or if you are a new business planning to start a new clear aligner service in your geography, then you need to get a CRM system. Again, HubSpot is quite easily integrated, and it's widely available. It's free of cost if you're starting up. So again, considering which CRM system you want to get to, where you can capture the leads and nurture them and add more additional information about them. After that, you enter into the world of the workflows, where the clinical workflows and the clinical aspects come in. When you enter that, the third thing you need to do is identify who is your lab manufacturer. And when I say the lab manufacturer, are you manufacturing it yourself? Are you doing an in-house manufacturing? You're buying the printers, or you are looking at a third-party manufacturer who can white label the products and the aligners for you. So I think identifying that is very important. Doing your research, talking to other people in the industry, I think that's a very important step that you can take. Once you have done that and you are talking to your manufacturer, you need to ask them whether they will be doing the treatment planning for you and what the package for the treatment planning would be. Because treatment planning might seem as one of the smaller steps, but that's the most important step, because the final outcome of the treatment is solely dependent on the quality of the treatment plan. And when you are in talks with your lab partner and identifying which treatment planning software they are using, I think you need to find out whether that suits you, test few treatment plans with them, send them some STL files, and understand whether they are the best ones for you, or look out for a new treatment planning provider as a partner. One step that I missed out is that before you are sending the treatment plans, you have to make sure that you have a proper digital scanner or the intraoral scanner. And talk to your lab partners. They might suggest you a few things. Do your research. There are just a handful of companies which do a really good, they provide you with a scanner. And when you have that scanner, you can start without a scanner as well. But again, you need to have another partner in the mix who can scan those impressions for you. So identifying which scanner you are trying to buy, talking to the lab partner, and then maybe a treatment planning provider, whether in your geography or overseas, is very important. And then that's when you enter into the workflow management, where you will need a lab case management platform where you can send the cases to the lab. Usually the labs will provide you, or your workflow partner could provide you with that. You will need a doctor's portal. So once you have captured the basic information about the patients, you will need a doctor's portal, or the dentist portal as they call it in UK and Ireland, to enhance the information about the patients, interact with the lab around that patient's information, have a single view of the patient's treatment, and remote monitor that patient at the same time as well. And once you've done that, you need to look for a remote monitoring platform. So let's say if you are a direct-to-consumer business, it's a must for you, as a remote company or a teledentistry company. So having a remote monitoring app, which is the most important most kind of common and easy to use platform for the patients, having an app rather than using a web, is something that you should be considering. Building it in-house is one way, partnering with other tech providers is another way, but make sure that, if you are a direct-to-consumer business, that's a must-have. Make sure your patients are compliant. Make sure that your patients feel that they are connected with you and it's not a brand which is not a human behind the computer. That's actually a human behind the computer. So again, it's all about making sure that you're using all the steps within the digital dentistry, making sure that you have spoken to those stakeholders, you have them engaged, you have identified who will be your partners in that space. And once you have that remote, patient monitoring identified, you need to onboard the patients onto that, remote monitoring app. So you have to make sure that they have enough information and training, or your staff has enough training to onboard your patients and do the hand-holding and the training when it's needed. So once you have this machine of all the different stakeholders in digital side of things sorted out, you need to think about how would you get those seats inside your clinic, or virtually speaking, how would you get those initial consultations booked up? So talking about a marketing agency, which could be your lead generation agency, is very important. And I think collaborating with them, identifying how much would be your budget for digital ads, or what kind of traffic you will be, what kind of tools you'll be using to bring traffic to your clinic or to your website. And if you are an existing clinic, that's the best thing. And if you are referring your patients to an orthodontist, that's the best time, and you don't have to spend too much on marketing. You already have traffic coming in. But if you are a new business, I think that's one of the most important pieces of the puzzle that you need to figure it out. And once you have done that, and once you have your machinery all sorted, you will need to have a feedback loop from the patient side, from the lab side, from the partner side, kind of learning the ropes of the business, trying to improvise the business, and how you can take that business even further, and how you can improve and tweak certain elements of your workflows, and improvising as you go along, and kind of accelerating the growth of the business from there to the future kind of level that you want to take your business to, or to different states or different countries. Again, so I think digital dentistry is much more than just 3D printing or the scanning. It has to do with the different building blocks when it comes to setting up your clear aligner business, and I think it involves multiple stakeholders. That's the way it is. It's much more globalized business than any other business that I've ever seen, and I think doing your research and identifying key partners, I think that's one of the most important thing that you can do as of now. So I hope this was useful. If there's anything that we can help you with, do let us know. But yeah, I think do your research, make sure that you have all the ducks in the row, and then learn and improvise as you launch, and as you start getting feedback from your different stakeholders. Until next time, thank you. Cheers.